Welcome to my channel, I'm Gary Wuryawan, and today we want to compare the Panasonic 14-140mm super zoom lens with the combination of the Panasonic 12-32mm kit lens and the 35-100mm f4 to f5.6. Let's go! Before we continue with today's video, if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Gary. In this channel, I mainly talk about photography, camera, lenses. I'm a micro four thirds shooter, and also sometimes I talk about music, home recording, guitar, all that kind of stuff from the perspective of an enthusiast. So if you are looking for something more honest, more authentic, you should probably subscribe to my channel. And if you like my videos, you like my work that I've done here in my channel, you can support my channel even further by using the affiliate links down below, or use the super thanks button down below as well to make some donation for my channel. It will help me to grow my channel even further. Now let's continue talking about the comparison between the 14-140mm super zoom lens with the 12-32 and 35-100mm combo. Let's go! So, as some of you might already know, I'm primarily a micro four thirds shooter. I use some micro four thirds cameras and I use lots of micro four thirds lenses. And the reason why I chose micro four thirds as my primary camera format is because I travel a lot. There are lots of other reasons as well. I urge you to check out this video up here about why I'm choosing micro four thirds camera format. But basically, I've already traveled to so many different places in the world. I've traveled to so many countries, and I'm always bringing my micro four thirds cameras and lenses with me. And today I want to share about two of what I think the most important travel setup. One is using a super zoom lens, the 14-140mm, which is a very classic travel photography lens setup, and also using a combination of two different lenses, which is a wide angle and a telephoto lens that are small for travel. Which one is better? Which ones works for a particular scenario or situation, so that you can understand better about which one to choose for your next trip. However, in this video, I want to refrain from talking about image quality comparison between these two setups. Let's just say that both of these setups are good enough for what you need. They're both sharp and they're both contrasty and they're both able to produce great photographs for you. If you wanna check out more about some sharpness tests, I've included some of the lens that we're talking about today on a comparison sharpness video. You can watch it up here. Now, first let's talk about the Panasonic 14-140mm f3.5 to f5.6, because this is the most obvious choice for travel photography, as I said earlier. I recently brought this lens to a trip to Labuan Bajo and Bali, Indonesia. If you want to check out the vlogs that I made while I'm there doing some photography stuff, you can check out those vlogs up here. And I also brought this lens before to some other countries such as New Zealand and Iceland, and I've got great result with this lens. Obviously, this is one of my favorite travel photography lens. But today I want to share about some strengths and weakness of the 14-140 for travel photography, and what kind of situation is better suited for the 14-140mm lens. First strength of the 14-140 is definitely its flexibility. You can zoom in from wide to telephoto with just one single lens without having to change lenses. So you can be very spontaneous, you can be very quick, and you can run and gun in any kind of situation when you are traveling, which is important. You don't want to miss any shots because you have to change lenses first, or you have to fiddle around with the focal length and whatnot. With this lens, you'll eliminate that problem. You'll always have something ready for any kind of occasions, from wide angle all the way to telephoto, so that you can be ready for anything basically. If you use the Mark II version of the Panasonic 14-140, you'll get another benefit, and that is weather sealing, so that you'll be able to shoot in less than ideal weather condition without having to worry about damaging your lens. So far, the 14-140 sounds like the perfect travel lens, and it is. I love using the 14-140 for travel photography and video. But still, there are some weakness when it comes to the 14-140. And the first weakness is weight. Not that it's heavy. As a micro four thirds lens, it is still small and lightweight. As a lens in general, it's considered very light. However, when you compare it with the 12-32 and 35-100 combo, this lens is still heavier than these two lenses combined together. That could matter, especially if you travel by plane where you have that 7 kilogram carry-on weight limit. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Second problem with the 14-140 is something a little bit weird, but I still want to share it with you because this is what resonates with me the most, and it's about the process of photography. The 14-140 is an excellent lens, and because it's very excellent, meaning that it's very versatile, it's very flexible, you'll be able to zoom in and zoom out easily, and you don't really have to worry about focal lengths anymore. It kind of robs you from the joy of the photography process. What I mean by that is photography is not just about the end result. It's also about the process of coming up with a composition, choosing the right settings for your camera, choosing the right lens for that particular composition, and just committing yourself into the process step by step until you have the final result. That's what I really enjoy about photography. That's the thing that makes me really enjoy using a dedicated camera as opposed to just using a smartphone for photography. And the 14-140, because it's very flexible, it's kind of like cheating in video game, if you understand what I mean. And that's a little bit of, less fun factor when you're doing photography, when you're doing the process of getting an image. It's not really a big deal because if you are in a very run and gun situation, then this lens works really well. But if you are just out there by yourself and relaxing and just enjoying some time, trying to come up with some good compositions and doing photography, sometimes this is just a little bit too sterile, if you understand what I mean. Too quick, too easy, and that sometimes robs you from the joy of doing the photography process. Now let's talk about the 12-32 and 35-100mm f4 to f5.6 combo. Because you already listened about my thoughts about the 14-140, obviously the first strength of the combo is that they are lighter together compared with the 14-140. Again, for travel, if you have that 7 kilogram weight limit for your carry-on, if you're traveling by a plane, then I think this will give you a significantly lighter setup overall. The other strength is related to that enjoyment factor of doing photography. With the combo, you have separate tools for different functions, and that really adds into the overall, fun factor when you are trying to take a picture, you are enjoying the process of photography. If you have the time, then you will select the right lens for the right job, for the right focal length, for the right composition, and that really adds into the joy of doing the process of photography, as I mentioned earlier, which is very different experience from using the 14-140. Obviously, the weakness is about changing lenses. You'll have two different lenses for two different kind of focal lengths. So if you wanna switch from wide angle to telephoto, you'll have to switch lenses. That's not really convenient. That's also not ideal for run and gun situation, and that's also not very spontaneous. So you just have to keep that in mind. If you need something more spontaneous, then go with the 14-140. To conclude this rather short video of comparing between these two different kinds of setup, I can boil it down to just talking about time. Time is very important. Time really governs everything, especially when it comes to photography. If you don't have a lot of time, if you don't really care about the enjoying of the process of photography and you just want something fast, reliable, spontaneous, and versatile, then you can just choose the 14-140mm. If you're traveling and you're going on tour with some groups and you don't really have that much time to stop down and set up your composition, and you don't really know what you're going to encounter, and you're in that sort of run and gun situation all the time, then the 14-140 really makes a lot of sense, and I think this will be a better choice for you. But if you have more time, if you're not together with a big group, you have more time to set up your compositions, you have more time for photography, you can just relax and stand a little bit, enjoy the scenery, trying to come up with your composition slowly, and you want to have a little bit more fun of doing the process of photography, then the combination of the 12-32 and 35-100 will make a lot more sense. They're also lighter, so if you have that 7 kilogram weight limit and you're nearly hitting that 7 kilogram limits with your 14-140, then the 12-32 plus 35-100 combo makes more sense in that situation. I hope that this little comparison video can help you to decide which lens or setup is better for your future trip, and I hope that this little video gives you a little bit of more information and better understanding about these two setups, and I hope that you'll be able to apply it in the future. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's video. I hope that today's video is useful, informative, inspiring, and please comment down below which one do you like the most, the 14-140 setup or the 12-32 plus the 35-100 combo. Which one do you like better? And if you have any questions about today's video, feel free to comment down below as well, and I will try my best to answer your questions. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my channel even further, you can use my affiliate links down below or use the super thanks button. It will be greatly appreciated and it will help me to grow this channel in the future. Thank you and see you on the next video. Goodbye.